Thank you for staying with us. Nigeria and Taiwan are now determined to improve its relationship. This year marks 33 years since the establishment of Taiwan's trade mission in Nigeria to grow the business relationship. According to the head of mission of Taiwan in Nigeria, Andy Liu, he says there is need to advance the importance of government-to-government dialogue vis-a-vis establishment of agreement on mutual trade between the two countries with a view to facilitating commerce. The representative and chief of Taiwan mission in Nigeria, Andy Liu, joins us in the studio to discuss how this relationship would benefit both countries. Good morning. It's good to have you.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Right. It's been 33 years. I mean, that's a long time, having this relationship with Nigeria. Talk to us how it has been, and also what more does Taiwan want from Nigeria, seeing that it has sustained a 33-year-long relationship thus far?
Right. Thank you so much for having me the opportunity to explain and try to express ourselves clearly. Well, actually, more than 33 years ago, it was the time when Nigeria had already had the diplomatic relation with China. But at that time, the head of state at that time, General Ibrahim Babangida, decided to have Taiwan to be one of the best strategic partners for Nigeria to develop your industry and also your export processing zone. So that's why he wanted to adopt the Taiwan model as a non-oil economy for Nigeria as a valuable reference. Because you have all the natural resources you have, we envy that so much, but we have nothing except our human brain power. So we have a development model very, very different from Nigeria because we have nothing in natural resources. The only thing we can do to educate and reinvest into the human capital development. That's how we built ourselves 30, 40 years ago. And we've been through all the stages of economic development and come up today as the world top leader of semiconductor and also microchip. All the leading industry in the world, especially for the electrical car, for anything high technology, Taiwan are the best. So we are so proud of ourselves to be able to be one of the strategic partners for Nigeria, even started for 33 years ago. And until today, we're still being viewed as the top leader in the world as economic development and scientific and research development. I think that's something Taiwan can do something to help Nigeria in the near future to develop a more strategic structure to develop ourselves in a more mutually complementary way to develop ourselves.
So what has the structure been all the while?
Right. It was established 33 years ago, started from 2 to 3 very different and very important basic structure. One is called the Protection of Mutual Investment Agreement. That was signed in 1994. And the other one is about mutual trading and other protection measures. Because if we talk about government-to-government relation, then the basic structure had to be laid down to protect and to ensure the investment and people's interaction to be well protected. That is how the World Trade Organization being set up. And Taiwan and Nigeria have become the equal partner in the World Trade Organization under the leadership of Madame Okonjo-Iweala. Yeah. We are a very active member because Taiwan is the top 15 trading economy in the world. That made Taiwan a very outstanding in trading economy, in economic development, and that's how Madame Okonjo-Iweala had witnessed Taiwan had developed and participated in the World Trade Organization in such an active way. So I can see if in the near future, Nigeria would like to cooperate more and in a more creative way with Taiwan, then I think the best way is to fulfilling His Excellency President Tinubu's campaign proclamation in November 2022. He said he wants to make the southeast of Nigeria become Taiwan or Africa. Right. He didn't mention South Korea, he didn't mention Hong Kong or China. He specifically mentioned about Taiwan. And he didn't just say that he wants to make the southeast to become the Taiwan of Nigeria. He wants to make it become Taiwan of Africa. Right. I think that's very ambitious, but every ambitious is not a dream, but every ambitious goal needs to have a structural kind of implementation project. So that's how Taiwan and our mission can step in to help to set up a mutually complementary way to promote bilateral relations. So the first thing, it might just take another 30 seconds. Okay, the first thing is to renew the agreement of investment protection between Nigeria and Taiwan. It was signed in 1994, but it needs to be renewed. And your Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment had already done all the negotiation with Taiwan under the structure of World Trade Organization. All the negotiation being done, it just needs to be signed between your government and our government.
Interesting stuff. You know, the memorandum of understanding that was signed, you know, between Nigeria and Taiwan, you know, back in the day, you know, the question this current administration will now be asking, even though President Tinubu, because he's widely read, he's widely traveled and all of that,
Right.
is saying that he wants to make Southeast Taiwan of
Africa.
So the question they will now be asking is, how has that MOU, you know, facilitated the relationship between government to government, and not just government to government, but people to people relation, you know, in terms of, you know, consular services and, you know, all of that regular what's it called, relevant regulatory.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the good question. Because if we do things not just government to government, but to the private sector and also the trading and industrial group, like NACIMA. NACIMA is the biggest grouping for all the Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Nigeria.
Right.
And NACIMA had been very clever and very creative. It had done a mutual cooperation MOU with the largest trading agency of Taiwan, which is the people and private sector to private sector. It had been already done for about quite a few years now. So what we need to do is to go through individual city like Abuja Chamber of Commerce Industry, Port Harcourt and Lagos. Then we can do the institution to institution and kind of a cooperation, because I can only say that we Taiwanese people have a very bad 419 group of people. We don't want any of our Nigerian friends to step into any of the forgery that Taiwanese people might fraud any of the foreign friends. So institution to institution, NACIMA member can sort out a very good trading relation with our trading agency member in Taiwan. This is called what we call the institution to institutional way. So besides from the governmental cooperation, institution like the big trading agency and a umbrella corporation like NACIMA can also do a lot of trade talk with Taiwan. Another thing is that because individual state in Nigeria, you have 36 states plus FCT, different state government, even governor had approached us how Taiwan can help each individual state to establish certain kind of industry or even to revitalizing the agriculture. We said it's very simple. Please bring the federal government on board, because it only through the collaboration of state government and federal government then come up with an annual consultancy kind of interaction with Taiwan. That's how Australia, the British, the Canadian, the Indian have been doing right now. So for the past 2 months, the British government and Taiwan government signed a comprehensive trade and investment agreement. Early November, we signed that. And also, in the end of last month, Canadian government also signed a very comprehensive investment promotion agreement with Taiwan. And French government has signed an agreement with Taiwan on science technology research cooperation. And Indian government also signed it about 1 month ago. So you can see the world trend of promoting Taiwan as the most important strategic partner for leading industry, green energy, cybersecurity, electrical cars, and also mining and agriculture. All these are comprehensively covered. So we can see Nigeria is taking a lead in Africa of building closer ties with Taiwan. This is the best chance, because you have a very ambitious and also business-oriented minded president of the Republic. So you have a president that taking the spearhead of promoting Taiwan as the most important strategic partner for Nigeria. Then the rest of the whole federal government and state government can collaborate with our mission here. Then we can start to work on an annual consultancy, annual dialogue between government to government, NACIMA and our trade agency in Taiwan. All these are structural ways. That's how the Australian, the British, the Canadian, the Indian, and French are doing right now. So this is a great opportunity for for Nigeria.
Right. So I am wondering what you think has hindered this, the non-signing of this agreement for some time now, that you are that you're looking at the government to perhaps take advantage of at this time. I recall that not too long ago, Chairman House of Reps Committee on Nigeria-China Relations reiterated Nigeria's commitment to a one China principle. So I'm wondering if you also see that as perhaps one of the reasons why this is stalling.
Right. The 4 countries that I mentioned, well, besides from the US and other Japan, every government has its own one China policy.
Right.
But it's not a one China principle that's always alleged by the Chinese government in Beijing, because every individual country, an independent sovereign state, have its own way of collaborating with Taiwan with or without the one China policy.
Right.
But most of the country, most of the government in the world has its own one China policy, but every government of them have a closer tie and strengthen the tie with Taiwan at the same time.
Right.
So you can have the parallel relations of having Nigeria-China relation and also Nigeria-Taiwan relation.
Okay.
Your government, your people have been so creative, not just Nollywood, not just music, but so creative 33 years ago already have the relation with Taiwan without diplomatic relations. Our mission in Nigeria has been established and since 33 years ago enjoy all the diplomatic immunity and privilege. That's how your federal government approach us with a creative and goodwill, and we really appreciate the goodwill.
Right.
And the other thing we need to focus on is that Nigerian way of fulfilling your constitutional right. Every 4 years, you elect the president, you elect a new National Assembly. Every 4 years, Taiwan is the same. Actually, our presidential election and parliamentary
Just
election
concluded.
just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's right.
And our new president will be inaugurated in May. Isn't that similar to Nigeria?
Right.
And Nigeria and Taiwan, we are geographically so far away from each other. We never communicate with each other, or we're going to move into democracy. But actually, our 2 people move into democracy almost at the same time. You had in 1999, we had the year 2000. We always lag 1 year behind you. So,
Even though China...
so that's the constitutional idea we share. Democracy, economic development, freedom of press, and freedom of speech. This is how our people enjoyed each other. And no colonial master sitting on top of us. Nobody dictating us.
Right. So
that's why
what do you
one China
think has
policy
been the
doesn't
reason why this agreement has been stalling? If the one China principle is not the reason, what do you think?
Well, it maybe have something to do with whether or not each country, the ruling government, will need to think about their future. Because His Excellency President Tinubu had already said that this country needs to have a renewed way, a renewed agenda
Yes.
for development. Then Taiwan can be such a valuable reference as a non-oil economy. At the same time, we can do to help in our own way, because we don't come to other people's backyard digging other people's gold. We don't do illegal in mining, and we don't throw away billions of dollars building airport and railway. We have our own legitimate way of doing business.
Right.
That's why we are one of the role models in the World Trade Organization. We work so closely with Madame Okonjo-Iweala because we are the top leading trading economy, because we have so few of resources we need to utilize so well. And we need to do it in the legal and a good way. So that's why we present ourselves as a Taiwan a success story and as force of good. So this is our Madam President. She's going to step down after 8 years. So we have no gender issue because our president, and also this is what President Tinubu has said it.
Right.
November last year. And the remaining material are just how British, French, Canadian, Indian government have been doing collaboration with us. I will leave it for you.
Right.
If you cannot sleep at night,
We'll flip through the pages. Yeah.
One thing is, just like you address the issue of government to government and then the people to people, but then Nigerians talk about the youth, because I was actually interested in the reason why, okay, we understand that Nigeria came to Taiwan. President Tinubu also alluded to the fact that they want to make Southeast the Taiwan of Africa. But the youth will also, this era of, Japa, where we have the youth who are, going to other countries,
That's right.
seeking education and all of that. I think there's a scholarship that your country offers Nigerian youth. Could you talk to us about what Nigerian youth tend to benefit, from your country if they, desire to come over to your country, for exchange programs, and also your own citizens coming to Nigeria for the same reason?
Okay, for capacity building, that's how Taiwan built ourselves, because education and reinvestment into. So we have been offering so many different kinds of not just scholarship, not just fellowship, but training program, either in Taiwan or within any of the states that would like to collaborate with us. Because we have a diplomatic ally in Africa called the Kingdom of Eswatini. Kingdom of Eswatini, it used to be called Swaziland, and we have our embassy there for more than half a century, and our mission has been there for set up for youth training, for vocational training, for medical, for medical doctor, for nursing, and also for information technology training, not just for internet, but we have the kind of what we call a digital economy development center that we set up to help the young people. We do not just train people in Taiwan, but we bring the whole team into Africa, like setting up a mission beside from the embassy. A mission try to set up to do the vocational training, not just for agriculture, not just for kind of fish farming, but also for digital economy and also for green energy, because we're promoting solar energy and green energy and also anything to do with the capacity building, and also for women empowering also. We have a Madam President.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yes.
women empowering, youth capacity building, these are all Taiwanese expertise in providing assistance to any other country. We already have a very prominent model in Africa. It's called the Kingdom of Eswatini. Madam President visited that country September last year just to see. We have helped them to build a hospital, put into a medical team, and do the long-term training for all the Eswatini women and also young people. We do think when we promise something, we need to make it happen and make it happen in the long term. So thank you for the question. Yeah.
Right. So there was the matter of obstacle to communication when you're talking about the provision of government to government dialogue in establishing an agreement. I wanted to know how far we have gone with that now. Has that obstacle been, removed, so to speak?
That's a very important question, because once we renew the protection of investment agreement, it will be a threshold and a foundation for a much more comprehensive cover of trading, investment, and also for developing of any industry. Because that's how the British, how the Canadian, and how the French are doing now.
Right.
They have picked up certain things as a building block, and then after being done, then we can put something else on top of it. But it all depends on how your government going to form a delegation combining the federal ministry and also state government to visit Taiwan with the leadership of permanent secretary level. That's how the Australian British have been doing. Up to permanent secretary level, that means this particular government means business. He seriously want to discuss with Taiwan how to do the next stage for even more comprehensive trading, investment, and also for science technology development. This is how I've been approached to your Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, and also Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, and also for digital economy. I've been approaching several of your ministries. They are so welcoming because they need to fulfilling the government, the president campaign promises. So we are having much better way of communicating now.
Right, great.
You already spoke to the question I was going to ask, because the thing is, we understand that Nigerians are very welcoming people, but if the government welcomes you based on the fact that you understand the memorandum of understanding that you signed, and then both countries understand the interest that they tend to derive from it. What about the people of Nigeria? Did they really welcome you as such? And then what are your future plans towards entrenching the bilateral relations with this country?
Thank you so much. Because as a matter of fact, our Taiwanese business people and our Taiwanese migrate into Nigeria for more than half a century now. That's why we have a Taiwan Chamber of Commerce in Nigeria, have been deeply rooted here in Nigeria. And also in early March, we're going to have the Pan-African Taiwan Chamber of Commerce all flocking into Lagos. They're going to have the annual conference about how Taiwanese investor or trading people can come into this part of the world from South Africa, from eastern part, and also from the rest of the world. We are expecting 80 to 100 Taiwanese business leaders coming into Lagos, not just from Africa, but from Asia, from America, from Europe. They all come together in Lagos. They want to see what are the opportunities that they can expanding their business into Nigeria. They are really reflecting the appeal from your president, President Tinubu, want to open business to the world. So we're going to have a huge conference here in Lagos. This is the first time ever that Nigeria is going to hosting that conference here, but it's organized by the Taiwan Chamber of Commerce in Nigeria. So we're expecting probably some more approaching us by the federal government and also from the state government and also from NACIMA, from all aspects, the public sector and also private sector. We're going to have a good dialogue on that.
So talk to us about the volume of trade between both countries. What's the state now, and what are you forecasting as we look to deepen relations?
Thank you. Actually, the peak appeared in 2021. They were nearly approaching like $1 billion US. That's historical. It's not too much, but at least the trading, even during the COVID, the trading still grow up. Because the year 2021, there's a huge demand of Taiwanese importer for high quality of sesame and also for chestnut. Because sesame oil industry in Taiwan are requiring for high quality of raw material of sesame importing to Taiwan. We cannot consume all the sesame grinded into sesame oil. We export to China. So China is still our #1 export market. Although there's a lot of political rivalry and argument, but there's no war, people make money together. So China is still our #1 trading partner in terms of export market, because Chinese, they want to have high quality and good quality of food security item, and also for our high advanced technology product into China. We enjoy great surplus, but we have a trade deficit with Nigeria because we require more of the good quality of agriculture and also oil-related product that export to Taiwan. That's quite a lot to do. Although in the last 1 or 2 years, the trade value might be dropping to $600 million US, but in the year 2021, it reached the peak of nearly $1 billion US.
So what are you looking forward to in the coming days as you look to deepen ties with Nigeria?
Well, that's something we need to work on, because it all depends on our private sector, whether they need something more from this part of the world. Probably something else other than sesame or chestnut, probably they will come to see. So that's why early March will be a great opportunity for Nigerian, either from NACIMA or from the federal government, to demonstrate what kind of focus that you want our business people to put on.
Interesting stuff.
I think that's the best way to communicate with each other. I cannot speak on behalf of our businessmen. They are much clever than I am. They know what they want.
But all the same, you've talked about oil, you've talked about technology, you've talked about different agriculture, etc. But then you're not referring to what about, because Nigeria is very deep and rich in culture, and I know Taiwan too is also has good cultural values. So talk to us about, are you also looking to explore the opportunities culture, art, and tourism is definitely going to bring to these bilateral relations between the countries?
Yeah, of course. Actually, we have a group of Taiwanese artists came into Nigeria late last year. They have a cooperation with the Nigerian Artists Association doing the art exhibition either in the University of Lagos and also in Yaba Technology University. So this is just one small example, but actually we have been having so many different contacts with the Nigerian either women's, female artists association or artists association in different states. And also we've been participating in so many different kind of things. But there's one single item, very interesting, is your Nollywood have been so famous.
Absolutely.
Not just on the Netflix, and quite a few of our Taiwanese either film producers or either filming studio, they would like to explore certain kind of collaboration with your Nollywood, producer or something, that you can have more collaboration. Because we have witnessed everything started from the grassroots of Nigeria. You started everything indigenously. You're not a fancy Hollywood, and you're not a dancing Bollywood. You have the original, very authentic Nigerian style and way of life. This is what Taiwanese people focusing on our own culture. We have our own film industry. And actually, we have one very top famous film director in the world. We call it An Lee, the director for Life of Pi and also for Life of Pi. That's a Taiwanese director putting his fame in Hollywood. But he's still a Taiwanese director. So we have so much to talk about because both sides, we have such a freedom of speech, freedom of expressing ourselves. That's how the entertainment and that's how the movie industry get developed. But we have to congratulate how your Nollywood developed from dragging a generator and filming at the same time. This is the strength. This is the strength of grassroots.
Right.
You develop everything from the bottom and to the
top.
And then make the world knows about it. We envy that very much. We haven't had that yet.
Good to know.
We need to know something and learn something from Nigeria.
Absolutely.
And your music,
Absolutely.
my God.
Which is your best artist?
Well, for the moment, calm down on it. That can be famous. That's the most popular one even in Taiwan.
Really, and everybody needs to calm down in 2024.
All right.
I know something about.
It's good to know. We have to leave this conversation here now. Representative and Chief of Taiwan Mission in Nigeria, Andy Liu, thank you so much for your time on the program. Right.
And thank you so much. And this is for your sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So if we don't sleep, we'll go through this.
And I welcome any more questions.
Right.
No problems at all.
Right.